What did you say these are?
So I said, my very favorite words. Like I do. I mean, I was attracted to you. I don't know her. She's a local pilot. Get through places. Oh, you do? You don't? I have them kind of scattered around.
What color now?
Question? Yeah. These were some of my work I do.
He does.
Oh, that's way cool.
But there's catching the right move.
An artist.
I have a partner. And then
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us here at the fabulous Vistra Gallery on the first Friday Art Walk. I am Mindy Linder. I'm from the Eugene Concert Choir. We are sponsoring the Art Walk tonight. We're very thrilled to be giving away tickets to our April 30th concert, the Cantata Criolla, at the Holt Center. The fabulous Mariana here, the lovely lady with the bowl, she has sign-up sheets. You can give us your name and phone number, and we'll be doing a drawing at every stop for free tickets to Cantata. You can learn more about those works. So with no further ado, let's talk about these amazing artworks with our incredible host, our public art manager, Mr. Isaac Marquez.
Hi there, thanks for coming out. Before we talk to Lynn, I want to ask the audience a question. How many of you are stepping into the Vistra Frame Gallery for the first time? Look at that, that's incredible.
Welcome.
Thank you for coming out, and thank you for coming downtown. Lynn,
Yes.
I've had the pleasure of looking at some of your work, and I have a couple of questions. The first one is, can you tell us about your start? When in your life did art become part of it, and how did you get going?
Well, I've always drawn. Oh, real close? I've always been a drawer as a very young child, and throughout my life I've always done a lot of drawing. And then when I moved to Eugene in 1976, I got interested in doing some work with clay. And I've been a potter for about 35 years. And some of the reliefs that I have here reflect my clay work, taking a drawing and then turning that into a relief. And then I think it's about 12 years ago, I really wanted to find out about etching. I'd always been interested in etching. And I was in a group of artists, and one of the women in the group was an etcher. And she encouraged me to go to the University of Oregon, where I learned how to do etching from Peggy Prentice. And just kind of took off from there. I first learned etching, and then I got interested in woodcut printing as well. So those are the two printing techniques that I have on display here today, etchings and woodcuts.
That's one thing that stood out for me was how multifaceted your mediums are. And so could you tell us a little bit about your process? When you wake up in the morning, how do you decide whether you're going to do an etching or a woodcut or a clay piece?
Oh, that's a great question. It's a luxury to have that opportunity in my life to do my artwork whenever I want to, pretty much. I kind of go in fits and starts. I work on clay for a while. Sometimes I have a commission and I'll be working on that for a while, and that'll get me going on some new work. And then it's pretty haphazard. I'll just decide, well, I know I want to do some art today. Most recently, I've been working at Whitaker Printmakers, which is a wonderful new studio in town. And so having the access to this new studio has really gotten my interest in etching just kicked into high gear. So that's what I'm doing now.
What a luxury. That sounds
Yes.
wonderful. Could we do a day in the life and visit you and your process and wake up and
Sure.
decide? Is it after the first cup of coffee you decide that you're going to do a woodcut or a little cutter?
Sometimes I decide the night before. And especially if I'm in process on something that, I want to complete. And so I'll go to bed and I sometimes dream about my work. And then, I wake up in the morning ready to go. And sometimes if I'm sort of between projects, I'll just take a day to do a little drawing or sit with my garden and do something completely different.
It seems like a great way to get around dead ends, artist's block, or whatnot. My last question for you before we have questions from the audience is, what's your trajectory? Where are you going? What's next in your career?
Wow, if only I knew. I don't have a long-range kind of vision, and I'm kind of hanging on to the daily. And I like that. I like being able to decide as I go along where I want to take something. And I love to show my work, just because it's fun to get it out and to get feedback from people. So I guess if I had any long-range plan, it would just be to kind of keep going and find opportunities to show.
Very good, thank you. Do we have any questions for Lynn? Something you're wondering about? Yes, questions? Any questions for Lynn? Okay. In a few moments, we're going to do a drawing for a ticket giveaway before we go to the next stop. At this point, we'd like to give you, as the audience, a chance to tour the gallery, to look at Lynn's work, and I assume you're available for questions as well.
I am.
All right, so we'll enjoy the art. We'll see you in a few minutes. Other mediums or sizes that you work in?
Basically, I like the 9x12 medium because I work in my kitchen. I have a small sort of studio space, so I like to have paintings that I can complete quickly because they sort of give me that immediate gratification thing. But I also think of the customer in my mind too, because I want people to be able to afford fine art and be able to have a place for it. People who are apartment dwellers and maybe have a niche that needs a little bit of color and a bird. So that's why I do this small thing. It's not only my space constraints, but it's also I consider the buyer or potential buyer.
Okay, my last question would be, what's your path? What's your trajectory? Where are you going with your artwork? Can you tell us a little bit about what's next?
Well, I'm trying to get a proposal together for Maud Kearns, and the way I'm seeing my work is, I often think when I see animals, especially animals that make trails like snails and people and animals that are aquatic, I think about their paths and how they relate to language and writing. So I'm doing a lot of work with mixed media where I'm kind of mixing painting, collage, and writing, and using what's called asemic writing, which is a post-literary thing where you're writing but not just really communicating meaning, you're more like making marks. So that I'm working larger and more abstract and kind of bringing animals into kind of a writing thing. I know that doesn't make any sense, but the newer stuff is very exciting and bigger, and it incorporates script and text and sort of more of a philosophical bent than, which I think this has value in terms of pretty birds that you can put in an apartment, but I think this other stuff is a little more interesting intellectually.
Look forward to seeing some of that. Yeah. Does anybody have questions for Marilyn Kent? Questions from the audience? Okay.
I do.
Yes.
How long have you been here?
So,
Since 1998,
90.
painting since 2005.
Oh, sweet.
any other questions? Okay, let's give our artists a warm round of applause. Let's also thank Gilton Gossamer for supporting the art scene in Eugene. Thank you, Gilton Gossamer. Excellent. We'll take a few minutes to look at the artwork. Our next stop is at 7:30 at Kesey Square. We will do a drawing for free tickets before we leave.
Bhangra, and I am here to announce my teacher who is going to perform. So please give it up for Satnam.
थाम के बैठिए क्योंकि अब आपके सामने तशरीफ ला रही हैं आगरा की अजीम फनकारा मलिका हुस्न नूर नजर मोहतरमा मोहिनी।
And get started. So if everyone would like to come gather around, we will start our presentation. Thank you all for being here. So we weren't sure if we needed a microphone, so we'll try it without it. Welcome everyone. Welcome to First Friday Art Walk. Happy Valentine's Day. As you know, we rescheduled the art walk. Last week was snowy. We were trying to hold on and we wanted to do it, but it just got to a point we couldn't. So we were really excited to be able to reschedule it for Valentine's Day so you can enjoy this special evening. My name is Leora Sponko. I'm the Executive Director of Lane Arts Council, and I will be co-hosting the art walk. And this is Jessica Watson. She's the art walk coordinator. So how many of you, it's your first art walk ever? A few of you? So most of you are seasoned art walkers. In addition to the art walk, Lane Arts Council, we provide, we basically work to support the arts throughout the county. We do arts education in schools, we do workshops and grants for arts organizations, and the First Friday Art Walk. The art walk is possible because we have a sponsor, so we'd like to thank Albert Taylor for sponsoring this art walk. They are a fantastic nonprofit that works with people with disabilities in our community. So thank you to them for sponsoring. Jessica's going to tell you a little bit about how the evening will go.
If you haven't picked up an art walk guide yet, they're by the door, and this is going to be your ticket to know everything that's going on tonight and all the exhibits. So basically, Leora and I are going to host the art walk, and every half an hour we're going to be at a different stop, which you can find on this page right here, and interview the artist at that stop. So go ahead and follow us for the tour to hear from the artist, or you can do whatever you want at any of these galleries.
We will also, there's tonight also special event will be the unveiling of the lighting in the downtown area. So as we will be walking, we are going to see some beautiful lights be unveiled on these light posts. You may have started to see them already. So at 6 o'clock is when the unveiling will start, and there will be a presentation at Kesey Square as well. So you can join us on the art walk and see the lights, and you can also go to Kesey Square at 6 and hear the presentation. So that was funded by the Downtown Eugene Incorporated and various groups in downtown Eugene. So let's get started with the interview. Dan, we are very glad to be interviewing Dan Chen. He is the artist here.
Thank you.
And thanks for Diva for being our first stop and for providing such a beautiful space for us to be tonight. Thank you. So Dan, why don't you come over here and tell us about your work. We have your pieces all over in this room. You'll see pieces here, the other room, and there are also some sculptures. But I understand that some of these pieces here, you've been doing this work for 35 years?
About.
Yeah, that's incredible. And some of these pieces are your oldest work. Tell us how you got started.
Well, this is Chinese brush painting is my roots basically, and I did. That's when I started doing painting. As you can see around the room, they have a lot of different styles. They all kind of called Chinese brush painting. Basically, it's a brush. So you can see what they are. It's a brush and ink and color. And then the material is important is ink and shrink paper. Well, shrink paper is more like tissue paper. So water goes in, it disperses like tissue paper. So it's a matter of control of colors and water contents, the inks. So those are the important elements of it. And as you can see, this is on silk. So this is the ink brush. I done this on location in about, I think, 3 days period of time. So it was in Orchid Gardens in Guangzhou, is one of the bigger city. So I did all that during that time. So I actually have 10 of them, but we only have 7 in here. So those are done by brush on location. So I get a little cup of ink and get a brush, and here I go. So I just get this done. So this is about 35 years ago. So when you go over to that side, the small grouping is the same thing, a little bit bigger than this size. It's spontaneous style, a little of painting there. Those are as well. It's about 35 years old. I've been in the country about 30 years now. So those are my foundations. And you can see some of the spontaneous work as well, but you can see some on silk. The lily over there, that's on silk, and as well as the 2 pieces with the bronze. I call those 5D series. So they are painted on a single piece of silk, as you can see, and I painted both sides as well. So it's actually 2 paintings in single piece of silk and sandwich it together. And then I make a frame also to combine with the same kind of theme and element to carry it through. So those are more now than before. So that's basically, you can see a cross sections of time in my work. So, yeah.
When did you start doing work in bronze?
Oh, that's about 10, 15 years ago. Yeah. So.
And how did you start exploring? Because you started brush painting from your father, right?
Yeah.
And so, and then you switched over to bronze. What was that change for you?
Well, I have done many different mediums. I've got a book over there you can kind of look through. But I don't know. I just lack of focus, I guess. I just want to try new things because so much stuff you can learn. And they all can enhance each other, so you're not restricting it. So, yeah.
I have a question. Your show is called The Essence of Life, Inspiration, Inspired by Nature. So what is the essence of life to you?
Slow down, smell the roses. I mean, we probably walk by this daily. When you really pay attention to how delicate it is, slow down, enjoy your life, because sometimes it might not there. So I think that's important, instead of chasing your dreams, just settle down and enjoy it, I guess.
Enjoy what we have. Yeah. That's a great lesson. Jessica, do you have any questions?
Is it difficult to paint on silk? Do you have to hold it down in a certain way?
Silk, this is a paint grade silk. It's not for making clothes or anything like that. And it's been treated, it's sized just like an oil paint on canvas. So you size the canvas. But for the silk, you size the silk also. And when you do it, you normally stretch it out. Like watercolor, sometimes people make it really flat, which basically they glue the edges. So stretch it out. So that's, most of those are just on flat, but not mounted. But they're mounted afterwards.
Does anyone have any questions for Dan? Come on. Yep. Yes, go ahead.
I was going to say, what are you going to be demonstrating?
Oh, yes.
We will.
Yeah, he's going to do a demo for us.
Hi, Dan. I want to know what's happening with your Grange space. Are you?
It becomes a studio now. The gallery is upstairs, and then the studio is downstairs. I got some card here, so if you guys interested, you can come. And so I'm really blessed with the space over at Bailey Hill Road, near Candidate, and it was a 4-oak Grange. They've been decommissioned for about 5 to 6 years. And I always wanted a space so we can provide the kids, do some artwork and stuff like that. So that's kind of part of my dream. So I got the space now, so I have to have my time. My kids are going to be graduated next year. So when they're in college, I have more time.
Right. So you think, right?
Yeah, anybody's welcome. Just give me a call first. It's a zoned residential, so I cannot have set hours. And it is my studio, so it is a workspace as well. So just give me a call and set up a time. So no problem there. Yeah.
So inspired by nature, do you have a favorite location in our area for you to paint?
Not in particular paint, but I love to go fishing. So that's when I feel, the most comfortable and most peaceful. So not necessarily catching fish, but that's a good one too. So I love to go to the coast and Mackenzie, just whenever. I think water will have something to do with that. It's really soothing, and all the plants and around it. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I saw some pottery in your book and I loved it, but I don't see it here. What is that?
Well, because this is the focus on Chinese brush painting. So this is just one facet of what I do. So, but I'm just concentrating this part of, since it's Asian celebration, Chinese New Year and all. So this is part of the culture and this is part of my background and my foundation. So, it's good to go back and visit once a while. I don't have enough time. What's that?
Are you still doing any pottery at all?
Not as much. But I still do. I just, as a matter of fact, today I went over to one of the middle school and helped them do potteries. So I do that just once in a while, and to let the next generation have a little taste of what art is, so, yeah.
And you'll see some of his other bronze pieces at Pacific Rim Gallery, and if you stick with us on the Art Walk, you'll see some of his pieces in that gallery as well. So if there's no other questions, if you want to go ahead with your demo,
sure.
and we also
So basically it's ink and water, and it's a little bit, it's mostly about the strokes and how you control the water. So now it looks like everything goes together, but when it dries, it shows off differently.
Dan, do you have an end image in your head right now?
Somewhat. Yeah, in the Chinese, in art, they have a saying, before you do your painting, you have the whole composition, everything is already within your mind, and you try to execute it. Sometimes you might have to change a little bit, but that's how you're supposed to start. So I'm still choosing a really traditional subject matter, which is lotus. So, you know, it's pretty common themes because we see that every day, because when I'm doing this I can still smell it because, you know, it's such a, yeah, so kind of bring me back, you know, my younger days, I guess. We used to go and do drawings and over in the field.
What is your paper, Dad?
It's a shrink paper. It's made out of, it's not bamboo, but it's a particular kind of grass in certain areas in China. And they have either a double shrink or single shrink, it depends on what you use it for. Yeah, they start introducing some of those from the garden areas. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it in Jerry's and stuff. And I have my koi pond, but I think last year I had one, but it the cold weather did not permit it to grow too well. Chinese brush painting, sometimes it looks really easy, really fast, but it takes a long time to learn how to control. I remember when we start doing that, we have to learn what they call the four gentlemen, is bamboo, orchids, and plum blossom, and what else? Anybody? Chrysanthemums.
Yeah.
It's a test, guys. So yeah, so because those are basically, I can kind of show you, after this I can kind of show you what it does make the difference. So I'm going to wait for it to dry out, and then I will probably add the little dragonfly or whatnot. So that's kind of what it is, but if you want to see how it will be when it's done, so you can kind of see the gradations and the different facets of the leaves and all that stuff. So those are only going to show up when it's dry. So, but because if put any water on it, it's going to be dark gray anyway. So, yeah. I can reuse that. So I can do a really quick 4 gentlemen, so I can kind of show you what the difference is in different strokes. This is shrimp paper. We can order that.
Shrimp, S-H-R-I-M-P.
S-H-E-N, I think.
Jen.
Yeah. See how my hands move around?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to get my movements and my actions into the piece. And when you do China brush painting, you don't sit down and rest it on. So you have to do everything with your arms and your body. Most of the time you do it from top down. And most of the time, unless if it's fine brush painting on silk and all that, you do everything in one setting. The reason is you don't want the color to dry out and then you lay something on top of it. So you always let them blend together.
It was on Tuesday. I tried to call God and say, listen, it's kind of inconvenient, but do you think
So Dan, we're going to let you continue with your
Okay.
demo, and folks, you're welcome to stay here. We're going to move on to the draft statement.